All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm gonna let everybody back in.
Oh.
All right, missing a few more people. Zach, I have a question for you. The photo in your background, is that the Golden Gate Bridge?
Nope, Mackinac.
Mackinac. That would make a lot of sense. I was like, it doesn't look orange, but the water makes it seem like it's the ocean.
Are you at the fort in that picture?
Nope, Straight State Park.
Oh, nice.
Is that on the UP side or on?
It's just on the UP side. So right when you cross the bridge and get through the toll, it's right off to the right.
Okay. So confession, I am a recent Michigander in the last 5 years. I've still not made it up to the UP, so I've never seen the bridge.
Well, class is dismissed. You need to take a drive.
Right now, it's like cold and gray outside, but just drive on through. So the closest I made it was, we've been to Petoskey, but just not over the bridge. We need to do that.
Yeah, like I said, class dismissed.
I know, that would be a fun road trip.
Indeed it would.
How are we doing? Looks like we've got a couple people still missing, but I just checked and it looks like I have 18 of 19 submissions for the quiz. So that is awesome. There's one student who is not in the class today because she was dealing with a move, which that sounds dreadful, having to move right now. At least it stopped raining, right? I don't think it's raining anymore, but it's just cold and gray. It's soup and blanket weather, isn't it? I feel like that's, or hot tea. So what we're going to do for this next portion of the class is go over the lab. The purpose of the lab, I should start by saying that, is to expose you guys on how to run some statistical analysis using software. In our class, we're going to do both. We're going to do some mathematical statistics, but also using the computer. Because let's face it, if you go into the world of graduate school or any level of higher education, that's how you do your stats. It's through software. Usually it's going to be through SPSS, but since not all of you will have access to that, for the purpose of our class, we're just going to be using Excel or statistical methods that can be utilized, again, with numbers. That's what it's called, right? Am I calling it the wrong thing? Whatever the Mac equivalent of Excel. That software or others that we can find online so you can get easy access. Okay, so having said that, let me see here. I want to be here. I want you guys to see I was already grading your quizzes. So I want to show that.
There's free online versions of the whole Microsoft Office.
That's true. And as a student, I think you do have access to that. If it's the online version, is that what you're saying, Ashley?
Yeah.
And I think you can do almost everything with the online version.
Yeah.
Were you going to add something else?
I believe so.
Daniel?
No, that's all I was going to say. Just for it, because I don't have Office on my laptop. It's at home on our computer. So.
Ah, okay. Well, and again, I am recording this. You guys can review it. So if you don't have access to Excel right now and you want to review the steps to do it, that would be a way to go. So let me share my screen right now so we're all looking at the same thing. Okay, you guys are seeing Course Connect?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so here we are. This is today's nonsense, just judge away. I've already opened lab one. Let me just reopen it just so these are the three files we want to take a look at. There's an Excel file called lab 1. There's a PDF called codebook, and lab 1, this is the assignment where you're going to actually submit the assignment to it, and that needs to be, and I just put the due date right in there, so it's due by next week's class. Next week is the 17th. I will say have it due by the end of the 17th. So 11:59 p.m. That'll be the official due date for that. So let's open them up one at a time. If you, and now I have like 14 of them open, not that I needed that. Can you guys see Excel? Do you see my Excel page popped up? It'll say ID section.
No.
You do not. Okay, so I'm gonna, you guys see the code book?
Yep.
Okay, Sage Research Methods. Okay, so this is the, no thank you. This is the General Social Survey of 2012. This is part of what I was talking about earlier. This is to give you information as to what the Excel spreadsheet looks like, and we're gonna look at it in just a minute. But it lists the variables and the label that goes with it, and then the way it's been categorized, the different values you'll get, and the level of the variable, okay? So there's an ID. You don't care about that. It'll be 1 through 1,974. Just ignore that. That's just what it is. Sex is going to be male or female. Now, if you see a 1 in the column that says sex, that means they're male. 2 means they're female. Then you have qual. That is the respondent's highest level of education. And that is divided by limited high school, which is 0, high school, which is 1, junior college 2, bachelor 3, and graduate 4. So if you see those numbers, that's what that means. And lastly, there's a variable called race, which is the respondents identify, they identify their race. And there's only 3 options for that. Sorry, my kids are coming home, so kids are coming in and out. Again, lots to be learned. I need to unplug that thing. So race divided in 3, it'll be white, black, or other. And that's the number that's given for each, 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so now I need to find a way for you guys to actually see Excel. I think it's this. Okay, do you guys see Excel now?
Yes.
Okay, so you see here, this is the first column, and you see what I mean? Like there are so many variables, because see, here's our cursor. Whee! 1974. That is the total. Okay, it's a lot. Okay, yeah. So this is what we're going to be working with. Let me stop this real quick, and now I want to share back this one. Okay. Share this. Okay. Everybody is back to seeing Course Connect?
Yes.
Okay, so lab 1. Here are your instructions. It's 3 sentences. You are going to copy and paste the pivot table into a new document. We'll go over what that means. And you're going to include 2 to 3 sentences of interpretation for each of those tables. So what you're going to have is you're going to have one table that's going to compare. The first one we'll do is going to be sex and levels of education. We're going to do this all together. In this video, you will see exactly what results you should have gotten. And then on your own, you're going to replicate that same analysis, copy that table into a new document, and after it, come up with 2 to 3 sentences of interpretation. The next analysis, which you will do on your own, will be comparing race and level of education. You will run that analysis, copy and paste the table, and write 2 to 3 sentences of interpretation. That is it. So the entire lab is going to be a table, 2 sentences, a table, 2 sentences. Okay. So first off, questions about the format or what I'm expecting? Or does that kind of make sense?
Sorry if this is irrelevant, but at the risk of sounding needy, is this lecture going to be available for us before the next week's class so we can review it?
Yes. Yeah, okay. And it's not needy at all. I have had to work out kinks. So, they told all of us profs, yes, host classes from, a remote location. And I said, well, how do I host the lecture? And they're like, so good luck, host the lecture, find a way somehow. And I said, can I include it in Course Connect? They're like, nope, that's too big. There's no way that's gonna fit, so you need to then put it in somewhere else. So, you know, we're just working out all the kinks. So that's what
Thank
we're doing.
you.
So that's why I created my own YouTube channel. I think there's an old video that's associated with my Gmail account there that's like for my grandma's memorial. Please feel free to not look at that or do, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But those are on there as well. So, okay. Yes, those will be on before. Okay, so that is the expectation. Now, what is it we're doing and what is a pivot table? So let me close out of that again and let's talk for a minute. So the analysis we're doing is actually called a crosstab. And if you think of, let's see, let me draw it out because that, see, the downside of me being here is I don't have the office board. We're just going to use that. Okay. All right. How many of you guys have seen a graph like that before?
Yes.
Okay, what is it called?
Yep.
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram, right? So that's when we have a question as to, here's the representation of variable 1, variable 2, and then we want to know how many are actually, how many folks, participants belong to both groups, right? That's usually the question is how many people are in this sector, this middle section. And that's really helpful information, especially when we have demographic material like what we just provided, right? We have an entire data set that looks at gender, race, and level of education. I could certainly run a frequency and tell you how many people are in each of those groups, but sometimes it's interesting to look at how those groups overlap and whether there's any meaning that can be gathered from the overlapping of groups. The way that we would do that if we were doing SPSS or using that would be, it would be called a crosstab. We don't have the benefit of SPSS, so we are using instead a pivot table, which will do exactly the same. So I want to walk you through how to do it, but first I also want to point you guys to the direction of this. In fact, let me pull it up, and this way you guys can see exactly how many pop up. This is like, I'm sharing so many screens back and forth. Sorry about that. Okay, is everybody seeing YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So crosstab using Excel. Okay, now, is there a way for me to actually see how many results popped up? A lot, right? You can see me scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot, and it just keeps on going. All to say, if you are banging head against keyboard and you're like, she told me to make a pivot table and I have no clue how to do it, go to YouTube. YouTube is your friend for this. And they will show you exactly how to make a pivot table in Excel in a way that'll make sense. I will point out to you guys 2 areas that students often make mistakes. So we're going to pay attention to that to make sure to set you guys up for success. And with the first one, we'll also talk about what are the hypotheses or interpretive statements that I mean. Okay? So diving right in. So keep this in your back pocket. YouTube, crosstab on Excel. I bet you, what is this? The Mac, is it pages? No, numbers?
Yep.
Mac.
That's the logo, the little rainbow bar. So
Okay. Okay. So again, lots pops up. So you'll find lots on here. Okay. So now let's go back to Excel, which is right here. Okay. So here we are now. We are going to enable editing so we can mess with it a little bit. And you will see here, again, the reason why I included the PDF is that this is kind of meaningless, right? When we talk about numbers, what does this actually mean? 1, 2, 2 zeros, like that, it's hard to have a good sense as to what that means. So when I'm going to write my interpretive statements, I'm going to go back to that code book so that I have some meaning behind it. But the way to do it is you're going to go, this is the data set that you'll get directly from Course Connect. You are then going to go to Insert. In my version of Excel, And again, I just need to add that in there because all of us have different versions depending on how old your computer is. But pivot table is the very first option on the left, okay? I will click on pivot table. Oh, and I need to make our faces disappear. And what you will do is you'll select table or range. The easiest way to do that is to come right here above. So I'm going to use sex. I'm going to do shift and arrow over. So I'm including qual. So you guys see the dotted line is surrounding sex and qual. Right in here, it's included all of the data in column B and column C. Everybody tracking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I then click OK. And now the two variables are right here. Now I need to do something with that, right? Because right now I don't have any information. So I'm going to take the sex variable and drag it over to column. And I'm going to take the qual variable and drag it over to row. I don't know why this is blank right now. That should all be good. That's all good.
Wait, could you do that one more time, please?
Yes. So it's okay. I'm going to drag these guys over into rows and columns. It doesn't actually matter which one. See, I'll do the opposite now. Right here. And right here. Okay. Now this is acting a little funky. I'm going to go to field settings, custom, and you want to select count. This is a big one. Oftentimes it'll go directly to sum. We do not want sum. We want count. We want the number for each. But now I'm doing this, and of course, is it working? It's not. So let's go here. Oops. Do you guys still see it?
Yep.
Do you see one with numbers now?
I don't know.
Why is this not working? Okay. Do we see it now?
Yeah, I think. Yep.
Okay. Again, we're in this existing worksheet here, but we could do these two. Gosh, this is behaving very oddly. So I did it right before the class. This is what it should give you. Let's insert one over here. All right, let's fiddle with it a little bit more. Existing worksheet. Let's see if we hide it. This is why we need to have fun with stats, right? Because it embarrasses you right in the middle of a class into not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, go back. And let's select these two. Okay. Okay, so this, all right, are you guys still seeing what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay, this is what I did wrong. I didn't click it first. Okay. See? Trial and error. That's how it goes. Okay. I'm going to back it up because I just worked real fast. Did you guys catch what I did?
Do it one more time.
Yeah, let's do it one more time. Okay. So I am here. I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to show your faces right over here this way. If I see scrunch up faces like that, I can ask you. Okay, I'm going to go to insert pivot table. Okay. I get over here and I need to select sex and qual. Gonna go okay. Oh, now I have too many, too many pivot tables. Okay, it's just how it goes, right? Now it's getting real mad. Let's see if I go here. Can I do it on another sheet? Here. All right, pivot table, B and C. Okay, I'm gonna click this. This is what I did wrong earlier. You have to select it. You see how if I don't select it, it shows up that there's no values. Click it, both of them, okay? And now it's giving me the sum of sex and sum of qual. I don't actually want that, but right now it's giving me at least all the data is in there. Then I'm gonna take this first one. I can put it honestly in either one. It does not matter whether it goes into column or rows because, right, a Venn diagram is the two circles. It doesn't matter if it's right or left. Think of it that way, right? That doesn't really matter. So I'm clicking it and I'm dragging it into the column section. And I'm gonna take qual and I'm gonna drag it into row. Okay. Now, do you guys see how big these numbers are?
Yes.
Okay, I know because I scrolled down earlier, this is the right total. It's 1974. That's how many are in my data set. So when I see this, this is not right. And here's the reason why is that it's doing a sum. I don't want to do a sum. That's gonna be the first error that pops up. Your numbers are gonna be massive. So when you go and you see here, sex, you're gonna put the little arrow down, click on field settings, and you want to do custom count. That's what we're doing. We're doing a count. Press OK. You're going to do the same thing here. Arrow down, field settings, custom count. And
Where did you find the field settings again?
right here, the little arrow. It's the very last one.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I am only doing a count of it. I'm not doing a full, a sum of it, so to speak. And then in here, I want to make sure that there's nothing else. Hold on, this is still coming up. Oop. Not filtered. Go back over here. Okay. Now, can I make this go away? Okay. When I look at this, this one is still telling me sum, which is going to be very frustrating. We just want count, which means we want for each of those a single count. Okay. So as you can see here, this is the one I'd done before. We've got that correct. So 135, 433, 60, 163, and 95. That's the 886 right here. So that is correct. Now I need to figure out why it's acting so funky because it looks like it's totally counting them all. I think the fact that I have so many pivot tables all on one page is not helping my case. So let's go back. Oh, what happened? Did it all disappear?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can't see this. It shows me that it's there. Okay. Okay. Don't.
Actually, I can't see it either.
Telling me it's right there. Okay, let's try it again. You guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. Do it one more time. Okay. You're grabbing the two variables you want, sex and qual. You make sure that you click them. Right here. We want, not some, we want count. And we don't want some. Okay. And got this over here. Okay. Okay. Do we see all the information?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The total count is what you want. So this section, which, how can I, let's do that and that. Okay. It is still summing it. It's gonna do its thing. I'm gonna hide these so we can just not focus on it. This is what we need to focus on. This is telling us that I'm classifying sex 1 or 2. If you guys remember, 1 is what?
Male.
Male, right? So I could even write male. What's 2?
Female.
Female. Okay. And then back to education. 0 is limited high school. 1 is high school. 2 is associate degree. This is bachelor degree. And this is graduate. And this is how the numbers fall between men and women for a total of 1974 participants. Okay? Just looking at that, what do you see? Anything that's interesting that's popping up that you're like, huh?
Like the most prevalent grand total is the number 1, which is graduate from high school.
Graduate from high school. So if I were to look at this, remember our frequency piece, right? If I'm combining graduated from high school and limited high school, right? If I added up those 2 values, that would be my largest category. So that I could say, based on this data, the majority of participants have a high school diploma or less, right?
Right.
What else could I say about it?
The smallest group is associate's degree.
Okay, that is true. So perhaps then another way to say that would be of students who graduated high school and decided to go on further, the smallest number of those past high school completed an associate degree. Anything about gender that's popping up?
More women went on to higher education.
Okay, good. So when I compare it, in all of those past high school, women were higher. And in fact, women were higher in all categories because again, our sample was not even, right? There are more women, period, than there were men. 1,088 to 886. Those, everything we've said so far, those would be fair game for interpretive statements based on this data. Okay? Questions? Excel can be finicky. You saw it all firsthand. So this is why I do this, so that you guys see this is the right responses for that first analysis. When you do the other analysis on your own, what you're going to be doing is exactly the same thing, but instead of including sex and qual, you'll do qual and race. And you'll do the exact same pivot table, making sure you have count, not sum. If you end up with sum in your table, you can do what I did, which is just to hide those columns, or you can keep them in there. I'll be able to see that you have the total count of each of them. Okay. Questions? It's all pretty clear?
Yep.
Okay. That's the lab. All you have to do is create that pivot table, copy it, paste it into your document, couple sentences of interpretation, go back, then compare qual and race, get your pivot table, copy it, put it in the document, and a couple of sentences of interpretation. That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you guys work on it and you are struggling, do not spend hours. Literally do the trial and error that I just did, changing a few settings. Look on YouTube for a couple of tutorials if this is not helpful on its own. But then reach out to me. Say like, hey, I've tried for 3 days straight. I don't know how to do it. Or I keep clicking. I'm not getting the right numbers. Just reach out. Okay?
Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
So we should have 2 distinct sheets like this, or?
Well, it doesn't have to be sheet because, you know, you can just like take this table,
And
copy it.
duplicate it with Qual and Race.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I still need to see this table that you did on your own. So make sure that when you do this analysis, copy the table, paste it into Word or Pages, whatever you use, then write your 2 to 3 sentences of interpretation, go back into Excel or Numbers, then run the analysis for Qual and Race. When you get that table, copy it, paste it into a document, add the 2 to 3 sentences of interpretation. That could be the same document. Like this should be just 1 page. It shouldn't be very long.
Sounds good.
Good deal. All right. Please reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you all next week.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye, guys.
Bye.
One question. This is due before class next week?
This
Or
is due
before?
by the end of the day next week. So if you guys need extra time to work on it, that's fine.
And when will this recording be up, just in case I want to like?
Yeah, my
Okay.
hope is at the end of today. So I start teaching my next class at 6. And then once all of those are recorded, I put them up on YouTube. The first one already finished. It has to process and all that. So as soon as it's there, I'll add it to our Course Connect.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye, guys.